Right, okay. Simple, straight to the point type video. Do not accept the things that you believe in your personality, or the way that you've been brought up, or the way that you were born, so to speak, um, is fixed and static, and you can't change it. And just because you're overweight now, say, or you have social anxiety, or you're suffering with depression, it can be changed. Pretty much everything I believe within yourself, you can change. Obviously, you can't change your physical characteristics, or you can to a degree. You can exercise, you can lose weight, etc. But certain way we look, etc. By plastic surgery and things, it's best to accept that this is the way we are. But it is not okay, I don't think, to accept the stories that we tell ourselves. The stories that I used to tell myself was of a negative nature. So I, for years and years and years, had convinced myself that I'm naturally introverted, which I'm totally cool with, but I'd convinced myself that being socially anxious was just the way I was. It was in my genes, so to speak. So for somebody who perhaps has been overweight for a long period of time, it's very easy for us to say that to ourselves. It's just the way I am. I'm. These are my. It's just the genes I was born with. You know, it's not true. It's just a crappy story that we've been telling ourselves, and it holds us back significantly in life. I mean, it's I can look back. Hindsight is 2020, but I can look back at my life and and think, God, if somebody had just been able to help me, or I could have helped myself, or had been taught certain things and ways to challenge certainly the belief system that I had. It was a really crappy belief system, and it was completely untrue. Yes, like I say, I'm introverted. Yes, I might have an overactive sympathetic nervous system, so I perhaps sweat a little bit more than some people do, and I perhaps feel more anxious in situations that other people do. But I can still change that. I can still work on my social skills, and for example, if I found it very, very difficult, like lots of guys do now, I'm sure some guys can sympathise with this. I found it really hard because I'd never grown up with any sisters. I seem to develop social anxiety quite early in life. Don't know why, just the way it is, the way it was. Sorry, but I've changed that. Um, I can now chat to women happily. I enjoy obviously being. Before, I kind of feared them because it was a fear of being embarrassed, of people noticing that I was very, very uncomfortable. But I've changed it all. Do you know? I've changed it by taking very small steps, by getting help through books, through YouTube videos, through perhaps some counselling to address certain things, and basically it was to do with it was the counselling in particular was great because it challenged the bullshit stories that I told myself. I was telling myself all the time, oh, I'm because I feel hot. Oh, I must be blushing. And it meant that as soon as I felt that, it was like, right, I need to escape. I need to escape the situation. This is fearful. There's some danger here. Even though we know there's no danger, my flight and fight and freeze response would kick in. I was only talking to somebody, and I would do whatever I could to try and get out of there. But what I did was through the counselling, I understood the pattern that I was taking to avoid the situation, and ultimately, if you've got a fear of, say, talking to women, attractive women, approaching women, asking women out, the only way you can get better at it is to actually do it. Now, obviously, you don't want to be thrust straight into. I wouldn't recommend you just dive straight into the deep end. If you can do that, fucking brilliant. You'll get results really quickly. But it took me like a few years of taking small steps, taking little action. So just like silly things like saying hello to people on the street, saying hello to the barista at the coffee shop, um, working on eye contact, because that was a real problem for me. As soon, obviously, as I started feeling comfortable, I would look down, and then it would trigger a whole host of things. But when I worked on you know, and people should look at people. Do you know how the hell, if you're walking down the street and you see somebody attractive and you don't, you know, have that eye connection, how do you know you're attracted to each other? If you're looking at the floor, you're going to miss everybody that goes by. So don't accept, like I say, the you know the stories that we tell ourselves. You know, some problems that you can get, and this is very frustrating, but don't listen to them. I've got two stories. One was the guy whose business fitted the shutters in my windows. He told me when it's a long time ago. He really wanted to be a policeman, and you know, the person, the teacher or whatever it was, the job centre, wherever he went to decide basically what his career was going to be or what he wanted to do work experience wise, and then move on from there. He said straight away, I want to be a policeman, and this teacher basically said, oh no, you've had a misdemeanor as a chat, you know, as in younger life, so to speak, or a few years ago, whatever it was. Don't bother going into the police force. And then he said, your dad works down the mines. Just go and get a job down the mines like your dad has. If you can, you know, be an electrician and that, you'll do better. And because he told him that, he basically believed that he couldn't be a policeman. He just didn't pursue it. His life, you know, ambition growing up as a kid was just squashed for him. But he should have, obviously, you know, if he had a father who would have been, say, known these type things, he could have gone back to his dad, and that dad could have helped him to say, look, son, you should challenge that. Do not let that one person know, you know, what is right and wrong for you. If you want to be a policeman, if you want to be a pilot, if you want to be a nurse or a doctor or a teacher, or whatever the hell it is, don't let somebody else, and certainly don't let yourself, talk yourself out of doing it. If you want to do it, you can do it. You might have to put in more hours, you might not be as bright as other people, you might find it harder to, you know, take in the information, you might have to read things more than other people. That's something that I find that I have to do. I can get frustrated about it, or I can just accept that's the way it is. But if it's something that I want, because now I know that's true, I can work at it, you know, and I get better at it. So I don't think, you know, there might be some reasons why you cannot do certain things physically. I don't know, but like I say, if you're overweight, you have to challenge the if you have got limiting beliefs. So if you have been telling yourself that, oh, I just can't lose weight, this is just the way I am. But if you really looked at it and said, well, what have I done to lose weight? You know, what have I tried? Have I educated myself with how, you know, the food that we certainly eat in modern day society, is that good for me? You know, what should I be eating? I know that lots of, you know, it's difficult because people want your money, people want to sell you things, but if you want it enough, you will eventually come across the right information that will basically hit home, and it will be something along the lines of, you need to eat whole organic foods, you need to exercise, and you need to get enough sleep. They're the three things that you need to focus on. You might have some health conditions that might prevent this, but it's probably very small. I don't know. But do not let going to the doctor and the doctor giving you some bullshit, you know, reason to say, oh, we think this is wrong with you, you can't lose weight. He won't have even explored what you've tried doing, you know, because he won't know himself, or she won't know herself. So please don't let people in, you know, even in positions of authority, don't let them convince you of something. Like they told me I had IBS. That was a diagnosis they gave me because I was having problems with my stomach. I know that isn't true because I cut out gluten and all my symptoms stopped. So, you know, I proved them wrong. I'm not a doctor. I don't know a lot of the things that they know, but what I do know is I didn't accept what they told me because it just didn't make sense to me, because they hadn't really done anything. They just said, it sounds like you've got IBS. That's what they said to me. And I just wasn't having it. You know, it was funny because it was one of the things that, you know, in lots of times in my life, because like I say, I was, you know, shy or whatever, that I would have not challenged things, but that was one of the things that I did. I was determined. Basically, boiled down to that. I was determined to get better. You know, to stop having the symptoms and the type of lifestyle that I was having, and again, it's brought me to where I am today. I've changed in 4 years. I've changed drastically. Everyone can do the same thing. You know, if you believe in yourself, you know, start, like I say, if you're telling yourself something like, oh, I can't do this, I can't, you know, pick yourself up on that and start to ask yourself, you know, questions. Challenge that belief. Say, is it true? Do you know, is this a fact? I cannot do this. More often than not, when you challenge it and you really start to look at things and you actually start to take, you know, um, constant steps to try and work on something that you want to improve, you will be amazed at how much your life improves. You know, it improves. If there's one aspect of your life that you want to improve, or that you've perhaps you've resigned to the fact that this is the way I am, you know, like I say I did with quite a lot of things. Please challenge that, because you only get one life, and it can be as good as you want to make it. Hard times come. Everybody has bad times. Some have some really shit times. A lot of the time, some people don't have as difficult a time. But you will have some difficult times. That every obstacle, every failure you have in life, you should always view it as a chance. This is going to make me better. You know, whenever something bad happens, whether it's a breakup with somebody, you get hurt by somebody takes advantage of you, don't feel daft about it. Just take it as I've learned a huge lesson here. You know, it's made me a better person. And like I say, change, you know, challenge and change and work on the things that you've been telling yourself that you don't believe are possible. Because through my experience, pretty much everything that I didn't believe in myself of, and I was holding myself back, and I've disproved all of them wrong. And I say, because I've done it with one or two things, you know, it's like a snowball effect. I know that my social skills, they've come on massively, you know, like I'm a different person. I know that because I've still got stuff that I want to work on, the stuff I still want to get better at, but I know that because I'm going to take them and I'm focusing on them, and what it boils down to is now, because I've changed my beliefs about other things, I believe and I know that if I put in the work, then my goals will be reached, and in those situations I'll nail it, because that's just how it works. You know, if you want to get fit, you have to do it on a consistent basis. If you want to build a really good physique, you have to do it on a consistent basis. You just have to put in the time and the effort, and stick to it as best you can. Form the habit. So I'll leave it at that. It's something that, like I say, held me back for a long time. I hope somebody comes across this video who is perhaps in that position, because it will hopefully challenge again like what you're thinking, and hopefully it will give you some self-belief and some motivation, because, you know, people will be like me, people will be worse than me, people will be older than I am, still believing some shitty story that either somebody at school or the parents or the story they tell themselves is true, and I can pretty much guarantee that it isn't. So, you know, I hope this helps. Please, you know, subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. You know, hit the notification bell, so you get prompted when I do some other videos. Post a comment below. What things are you struggling with? How have you overcome certain things? Does this resonate with you? It's like I say, good evening.